Hello dear Sinceres, welcome to my channel. This time around we're going to talk about solar eclipse, but for this I have someone who is very special, who took on the special mission of bringing you the information of this exciting eclipse that's going to happen on the 25th, is it? 25th of October. And she's going to tell you a lot about what's going to happen, and her name is Mayra, but her channel is actually called Naranja Asteroide, which is Spanish name. And so feel free to check her out on her channel. She has a lot of exciting videos, especially if you speak Spanish. I'm sure you're gonna fall in love with her channel and all the information she puts out there. So please make sure to check her out and subscribe to her channel. And let's do this. Hello, Myra, and welcome. It's a
Hi,
pleasure.
Zine. Thank you so much for that warming welcome. I'm very happy to be here sharing this space with you and with your viewers, and thank you for inviting me.
So, Myra, what do you think about this upcoming solar eclipse? Can you tell us more about it and what's going to happen?
Well, seeing eclipses are like shortcuts. They are aligning us to the place where our soul needs to be. So it's a great opportunity to actually go with the flow, to not resist any changes or powerful transformations that we might encounter during this eclipse, because it's going to happen in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is full of like power, control. It can make us feel a little bit fear, a little bit of like, shady things going on, but it's part of the energy of this zodiac sign. So it's going to happen in the second degree of Scorpio on October the 25th. And there, after this partial solar eclipse in Scorpio, we will have a lunar eclipse in Taurus, which is the like following energy after this eclipse. So I think this eclipse is really a preparation of new beginnings, because then with the lunar eclipse, we're going to make some sort of detox. And this is to actually push the gas pedal if you want and really take those opportunities that are coming, not only during the eclipse itself, but also for the next 6 months, because eclipses open 6 month periods of time. It's like a door that's going to be open for 6 months. And I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to realign with our true selves and to take advantage of those energies and those opportunities.
Wow, that's really good. That's fascinating. I also love eclipses, and I agree. Like, it really opens things, especially the solar. Nothing stays the same after an eclipse. What things do you think that, the solar eclipse, in particularly being in Scorpio, in spite of being associated with all this power and control side, which is more the shadow side, this aspects of Scorpio, what do you think will be the most important things that people maybe should pay attention to in terms of the solar eclipse in Scorpio now?
Actually, this is the axis of resources, and I think also of material things and resources. And as we have seen now in Europe, where we are seeing certain issues with the supply chain, with our resources, specifically with the, let's say, resources that are underground, which is also a Scorpio energy, with the oil, with the gas, with everything that it's uncovered. And I think we're gonna be a kind of like working with those topics about resources, about self-value, about what I really need to survive, and all these things. So I think it's going to be a pretty interesting set of eclipses that we have coming. And also it's related to finance and economy and money, of course. So yeah, I'm not sure how this will play out, but definitely some, strong transformation, I think, is coming for all of us in how we manage our resources. Maybe it's time for a new system, or maybe it's time for being more creative and trying to actually come out with new options um, about how we're managing our resources and our money. So these are the main topics of this set of eclipses, and you can relate them, you can take them to the collective level and see what's going on. But I think it's more important to practice also on the personal level, and being how you say, being aware of these topics in your life. How are they playing out? What do you think?
I totally agree. I think,
Mhm.
like you said, it's a financial axis that talks about materialism versus letting go of materialism to become a bit more spiritual and seeking something more truthful. At the end of the day, what Scorpio most wants is go until the death, until the center of the universe where he finds out the truth. When we think of who rules Scorpio, it's Mars and it's Pluto.
Right.
And Pluto is really that planet that wants to go up to the bottom of whole universe and pick up the highest truth it can pick up.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
interesting what you're mentioning about transformation because Pluto is also taking everything that's in the dark and bringing it up to light. So I think we should allow for this transformation to happen at our personal level or at the collective level and see how it plays out and how are we gonna be in control not only of the situation. Maybe this is the enormous lesson we need to learn as a society to learn how not to be in control, but being in control of yourself, managing yourself, and how empowered you feel. Maybe it's time for some of us people to take back our power also as a collective level and decide really how we're going to manage the resources and how in which direction do we want the economy to really flow or to really go. So unfortunately, or maybe not, there's going to be some sort of destruction or some sort of like instability
mhm.
in our lives, probably in these areas, because we need to come up with new ideas, with new structures again. And I think that's what Pluto wants. It's not going to ask us if we really want to make these changes, but it's going to bring them to us. And we're going to have to learn especially for the fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. We need to really let go of control and to learn how to flow and to trust the process that it's something good is going to come out of this and we're going to feel renewed and we're probably going to feel different. So it's a very potent energy and I think we shouldn't resist it. So I'm excited in a way. I'm a little bit scared, I'm not going to say, but I think it's better to be excited for what's coming. And I'm a Taurus ascendant, so yes, I am very attached to certain material things and I know it's time for yeah, maybe it sounds a little bit weird, but maybe it's time to like flush the WC and let all those things go, which is very Scorpio, and and make that room and detox a little bit. So I'm excited in a way also.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think we definitely should try to see things on a positive perspective, even if we go through some crisis and things seem like, oh my God, because that's what will pull us out of it if we understand that change needs to happen. So you were saying that especially the signs of Aquarius, Taurus, of course, Scorpio, and Leo are going to be very affected. Um, and what do you think, like, how should people, the viewers, take on this solar eclipse for themselves on a personal level? Um, because not everyone's going to be a Scorpio, a Taurus, Aquarius, or a Leo, but this
Mhm.
eclipse is going to have an effect on all of us. So, what would you recommend people to do, or how to think, or how to look at this eclipse for themselves in their lives?
There are eclipses, nobody escapes, especially if it's Scorpio and Pluto is involved, which is actually, it has a touch of Plutonic energy that will come with it. And it's going to really touch everyone. For the fixed signs, obviously, it will be a little bit more of a challenge during the eclipses, specifically that day or like previous to those, like maybe 2 days before and 2 days after, it is recommended not to do really anything. And I'm not saying, just lie in the couch and like, scratch your belly or anything, although it's not a bad idea. But when eclipse happen, it's recommended to stay, in a vibration of peace, of tranquility, to be calm, to just feel the energy and to connect with yourself because things are eclipsing in your life and maybe there is going to be some sort of crisis and it's recommended not to start anything or not to do like important things or important events during that day or previous little few hours before a few hours after because things are eclipsing, you say.
I
things
completely
so yeah, things are like taking a new form, so it's not recommended to do much. And I would recommend just being, in your own presence, meditating, listening to nice music. Maybe if you're suffering from anxiety, or if you are like really anxious about what this eclipse might bring, maybe moving a little bit, like slow movements, like yoga or Pilates, or some sort of like something that makes you be in touch with your own body. And breathing is very important, especially for the air signs, I would say. um, so I think that's what I would recommend for everyone, really, because it doesn't matter if you're a fixed sign or a cardinal or a mutable sign. The energy is gonna be there for everyone, for all of us. So I think being in, like, in a nice peaceful vibration. Maybe if you want to be with your loved ones, also, it's recommended to be if you need to feel safe, then I would recommend being with your loved ones, or being in that sort of like vibrational state. I'm currently at the Casa Ronin here in Mexico City, and they are actually doing tonight a meditation previous to the eclipse, with Buddhist sounds and healing sounds and stuff. So I'm gonna go there because, yeah, as an Aquarius
yeah,
sign,
that's
it
an amazing idea.
so sound healing, breathing techniques, as a preparation for this, not only the eclipse, but it's also alienation. It's a new moon in Scorpio, supposedly to bring new beginnings. But for that, we also need to make room. So we also need to make room in our own body, right? To actually bring new energies and to bring new ways of feeling and give us new perspectives about the next 6 months. So that's what I would recommend. I don't know if that will help, but I'm sure it will at least, help you be grounded and present.
I love those ideas. Really, really great ideas. So, especially we Scorpios, we love all the mystic stuff and all this kind of occult and, shamanism. So we really like our eyes to sparkle when we hear about it. So the next question I want to make you is like, do you see like any aspects that might be affecting us during this day as the solar eclipse that maybe influencing us or that maybe we should pay attention to and what we should do about it?
Well, there's one interesting aspect about this eclipse, which is that it's going to be conjuncting Venus, which is actually the owner of Taurus. Let's put it that way. So, we were talking about this eclipse being on the Taurus Scorpio axis. And so Venus, which is the ruler, sorry, this is the word I was looking for. So Venus is the ruler of Taurus, going to be conjunct. That means it's going to be aligned. It's going to be almost in the same degree as this eclipse is happening. So there's going to be a strong focus on relationships that might need to go through a transformation. Let's put it that way, because in the end, it's Scorpio. But it also has to do a little bit with business, because also in order to make business, we need to relate to other people. We need just talking about like love relationships, but also about business relationships, about our relationships with everyone, really. That maybe I'm not gonna be surrounded by those who I really want in my life, but maybe I'm gonna be surrounded by those who I really need in order to evolve, or in order to actually align my soul purpose with my karmic mission. Letting go of deeper wounds in relationship matters also, that had to do with our own shadow or our own fears. Maybe we are obsessed with someone or with a relationship, and so we need to let go of those feelings and those energies and allow for new relationships. Also, it might be worth checking on these relationships, the ones you consider more important to.
I absolutely agree because Venus being in Scorpio, Venus doesn't necessarily like Scorpio. She rules the opposite sign, which is Taurus.
Good
And in
point.
Scorpio, she's not feeling so functional. Do you see any other things in the chart and of this chart day or whether it's worldwide that you think are going to happen? And
Nice.
also, if you want to talk about this very insisting square Saturn and Uranus, because it's like, come on, can you just get out of it? Can you just get on with it? Can you just finish? but he keeps go like back and forth doing the salsa, like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, two
Right,
steps
right.
forward, 2 steps back.
Well, I think everything has a purpose, right? And well, first of all, with that Saturn Uranus square, I have some good news. This is the last time we're going to be feeling that for a
Finally.
while. So that hopefully that square is actually disseminating right now. It's still very close. And of course, this is going to be an energy that will be present during the eclipse. So we have this struggle between the old and the new. Maybe we want to, especially for I'm a Taurus rising, so especially for us Taurus, probably we want to cling. You say to cling to certain things, to certain relationships, to the old, because that's what gives us safety. This is where I feel safe. But Uranus is telling us to try new things, right? So we're still caught in the middle of these two energies where we want to break free. A part of us wants to break free, but the other part is like, no, no, but this is my cozy blanket, whatever, safety zone, comfort zone. And it's so hard to let it go. So I think this eclipse might bring some of that too, regarding, when we talk about relationships and resources and financial. So maybe as a collective, we need to really let that Uranus work and find new and, like sort of, you know, have this breakthrough moments where we need to come up with a new structure, basically. So we have that, and it's going to be part of this eclipse, but it's nothing new because we've been working with this since 2020, 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's going to be still here, but I promise you it's going to be the last time we're going to be feeling that tension.
Finally. Finally.
Yeah, and you also mentioned something about Jupiter, and yes, it's true. Jupiter, I think it's going to be in conjuncting this eclipse, and something interesting about Jupiter is going to be on the 0 degree of Aries, which is the world axis. So definitely we're gonna start, we're gonna see some big new beginnings. Hopefully, I want to remain positive about this eclipse, but it will come also with some sort of inflation in the economy. Is that a way you say?
Oh yeah, that makes
Yeah,
absolute
because
sense.
Jupiter, yeah, is expanding and expansive energy. So yeah, I mean, here in Mexico, I'm back after 1 year and I already saw the price difference between, last year and this year. So I think we're gonna see more of that, unfortunately, on a collective level. And Jupiter is also conjuncting a fixed star, which is called I can't pronounce. I don't know if it's sheet, or something. Maybe since you know the name of this.
Yeah, Shat. Well, I'm not sure either, but I believe
Yeah,
it's Shat, something
chat.
like.
So it's Scheat.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna call it shade, but I'm not sure if I'm, pronouncing it well. But basically this fixed star has the energy of Mars and Mercury together.
Mm.
It's like, blending these two energies. And on the negative side, it can cause misfortune, like murders, suicide, this type of energy, because it's Mercury, which is like a depression kind of thing. And then you add Mars to that mix. So you have
Mm.
this suicidal kind of like energy, unfortunately. Hopefully we won't see that side. We will see the positive side, which is an enterprising kind of energy, very, how you say, combative,
Combative.
combative, yeah. So hopefully that will give us the energy to find new solutions, to be more enterprising and come up with, like, how you say it,
Solution.
yeah, with new solutions with all these kind of like issues we have globally. So we have Jupiter doing these two aspects to this eclipse. So hopefully it's gonna be for the best, and obviously we also need to remain, how you say, centered, because we're
Mm.
part of a collective. So we need to be responsible of our own energy, because remember, it's the 0 degree, it's the world axis. So we are all playing a role here, believe it or not, right? With our energy and our vibration. So hopefully, Jupiter is also that positive side of us. And if things don't work the way we want, maybe we can just, have a good laugh about it, instead of like complaining and playing the victim, right? So I
Mhm.
think we can choose that path, and not the suicidal, kind of like energy of this conjunction between Jupiter and this fixed star. So I thought that was interesting too.
Wow, I don't have so much knowledge of fixed stars, but this is
Mhm.
really interesting. So thank you for
Mhm.
bringing this up. Yeah, I agree. And I think this outlook, taking this optimism from Jupiter and not seeing things so dark and glim, also
Exactly.
because it is gonna very soon is gonna go back into is gonna come out of the retrograde position of the
Mhm.
retrograde motion, and it's finally going to forward motion. And just had recently I think you might still having some kind of going back to Pisces. So Pisces like divine help, and then will again go back to Aries once it comes out of retrograde. And it Aries is always brings is spring. That's the sign of spring. So it's like, okay, let's go forward. Let's move forward. Let's get on with it. Let's just power through and not just keep stuck in the past and thinking and lamenting, because there's no time for that. It's just get let's go, let's win this war, let's win this fight, let's do it. So this is how, like, this is such a good perspective for us to just think this, whatever is happening, we can move forward and we can have the courage and the boldness to go ahead. So thank you for that. And I don't know. I'm thinking about other questions, but maybe there's something you want to talk about that I haven't yet touched. So please feel free to approach that.
No, thank you, Sin, for your comments too. It's really, they're really, how you say, giving us also a different perspective about how we can manage these energies, because also you were mentioning that Venus doesn't feel really good in Scorpio. And, the moon also is going to be in Scorpio, right? We're having this new moon, and it's going to be in Via Combusta, which is not a favorite path for anyone, really. The Via Combusta is between the 15 degree of Libra to the 15 degree of Scorpio. And so neither the Venus or the moon they don't feel really well, because it's supposedly this path, this piece of the chart, if you want to call it like that, it's supposed to be Martian energy, if I recall, or Saturnian energy,
Uh-huh.
if I recall. So this, Moon and Venus they don't like to cross this path, and they're gonna be there. So obviously we need to use that Jupiterian energy to overcome those challenges, or those how would I say, those blockages that may be presented after this eclipse or during this eclipse. And also, well, we didn't mention, but the North Node and the South Node are, of course, in these two signs, no? And this one eclipse is gonna be close, not close, but it's gonna be relatively closed into the South Node.
Oh yeah.
So, which is, it's related to subconscious and repressed fears. Now, take this to all the topics we've been talking about: financial, relationships, stability, security, right? So maybe we're going to be working some of those subconscious repressed fears. And I think the key here is to get to know them instead of suppressing them. So maybe that's also a good exercise, or a good, solution, maybe, to actually, working with this eclipse in a harmonious way, is to actually connecting with those fears, instead of like keep, suppressing them, or playing the victim, or all these negative things. So I think we should take that into account too. And the last aspect is also related to another fixed star. Actually, I forgot to mention, but this eclipse is going to be conjuncting a fixed star called Princeps, if I'm not mistaken. I really like fixed stars because they give us more clues, right? So Princeps, she is now at the third degree of Scorpio,
Okay.
and so this is a Mercury and Saturnian energy. So there is a lot of like mental and like focus kind of like energy here, to actually that, since it's in Scorpio, it's going to be really good if we are interested in occult studies, or the topics you mentioned, as a fellow Scorpio, shamanic healing, all this sort of therapy. So it's going to be also a nice window of opportunity, like a portal. Like I want to see it as a portal where we can also use this energy to connect or to study these kind of things in case we need to heal, or in case we need to just connect with our really our shadow or our true self, which is underground, the things we keep suppressing. So this energy is basically giving us a lot of like a keen and profound mind. And but in the negative side, we live in a world of polarities. If you take the negative side, it can be that of like a shameless liar, right? Because of Mercury and Saturn. So we don't want to be that. Or if we see other people doing that to us, instead of reacting, maybe we need to be more proactive and, kind of like get control of how we're going to handle that situation in case we get some bad news or something like that. So I thought it was also worth mentioning this
Uh,
principle start. Yeah.
yeah, it really adds up to the chart and to the reading, doesn't it? It's like it's good to have that information and then see like how many little pieces might be kind of making more sense to us, and events that we might either be going through right now, or like you said, it's you can start to feel an eclipse a few weeks before, months before, and after as well. And so some people might already have already started to feel this eclipse shaking them up.
Hmm.
And so having this closer, already getting closer and closer to the star, it might be that they're already seeing some of these things happening in their lives. So it's really good. Thank you for bringing that information. For all the people who are going to experience this solar eclipse in Scorpio, depending on where they have their sign, their especially their ascendant, they will experiencing in different areas of their lives. So for you viewers who are watching this video and you're kind of curious to know how it will affect you, and you know a little bit of astrology, and if you can know your ascendant, then all you need to do is basically to see that, if you're ascendant Aries, then probably you're gonna have this eclipse happening in your eighth house. If you're Taurus, then probably your seventh house, and so on and so forth. So if you then know the associations to the houses, then it's really easy to find out which area of your life will really affect you, and pay special attention to the degree where you may have planets, because they might be doing some aspects to the solar eclipse, and then you will feel even more in either good or not so good ways the solar eclipse affecting your life. So that's a way for you to find out how it can affect you. I don't know if there's anything you would like to add, Myra, or something I still, could ask you about this eclipse, or if you're happy with what you shared with us, because I am happy. I think you shared a lot of good information with us, but I want to give you free reign to add anything, or if you feel like, okay, let's not overcharge this solar eclipse.
Yeah, I think I think I hope you guys found useful the information we're both sharing with you. It's important to remember and what are we expecting with this eclipse, and to remember that in the end we are the only we're only responsible for how we want to handle this. Nobody is gonna decide for us. Nobody's gonna tell us what to do, when we need to remember that sometimes. And I think a beautiful way to actually navigate this eclipse would be also to you have beautiful music in your channel. So I encourage all of you to listen to some of Cynthia's music. She has beautiful voice, and I
Thank
think it's really a very nice tool to actually tune in into those type of sounds that you share with us, and that we
you.
are very grateful that you shared magical music for free with us. So that can be a really nice way to make us feel in peace during this eclipse.
Oh, thank you so much. I do hope that it can help anyone if they so feel. It's been something that I stopped for a while, and I kind of feeling I want to go back to. It's just time is not that abundant so far. but maybe who knows. But thank you so much for mentioning that. Okay, dear sinceres, I hope you have enjoyed this video with Myra and that you do check her channel. Please,
Oh,
please
thank you.
go to her channel. I will type it, I will put it below her link. But also, if you just wanna, you don't wanna waste time even scrolling down and waiting for the video to finish, just type in Naranja Asteroid, correct?
Thank you, Sin. Yeah, it means orange asteroid, and in Spanish it will be Naranja Asteroide. So you can find me there. I post videos weekly about main transits, and we study them in depth. So if you feel like you want to listen to more astrology or learn new things, you're more than welcome to stop by, and I hope to see you there.
Yes. Also, before you go, I just want you to speak a teeny weeny bit because we are definitely going to make a video about it because you have this wonderful project with astrology and vocation and finding a career path and finding kind of your brand. So I was fascinated when I heard you talk about it, but I definitely want to do a more focused video about that, about your project, because I think it's really fascinating, quite
Oh,
unique.
thank you,
So
Sin.
just tell us a little bit about it so the video don't become too big and because we're definitely gonna make a bigger video on it. But I just want to leave a little bit of a teaser so people get really curious and then you're like, okay, I need to subscribe to this channel. I need to subscribe to Myra's channel to make sure I don't miss a thing.
Thank you so much, Sin. Well, yeah, what I'm trying to do now, I'm working with some people right now. We're trying to. Many people are coming freelancers, or they want to be, self-employed entrepreneur, especially with that Jupiter in Aries, which is also inviting us to do that, and with Saturn and Uranus also, trying to break free from old structures. So I see more and more people wanting to do their own thing, to become their own bosses, their own entrepreneurs. But the main question I have clients coming is like, I want to change jobs, but I don't know what to do. What are my skills? What should I be doing? So that's where I use vocational astrology to actually help them find their path, their calling, using their talents and how to capitalize those talents and turn them into a job, a happy job, or a job that makes you feel not only happy but fulfilled, right? So we do that. And I'm a designer. So I design websites, different digital content. I try to brand you by using your natal chart and your vocational skills. And we come up with all this whole branding for your business or for your new service that you want to provide or for your new project. So we are merging astrology, vocational astrology with branding and design and trying to, help some entrepreneurs who are ready to get in touch with their true talents and their true self. I'm doing that now with some people, and it's been a great journey. Really, I'm enjoying this so much. I mean, astrology is one of my passions, and design, and so we're doing that together, and it's been really nice, fulfilling for both me and the client so far. So hopefully, we can take it to the next level next year.
Yes, definitely. Like, I love what you said. I love how you described it, and I hope I can get your services sometime soon.
I will
My
be
life has
very
been a
happy.
bit hectic, but like I love this idea. Also, I've seen your designs. You design the cover for this astrologer
I
book.
think.
Was Ian Althusser, right? His name is, I
Yeah,
believe.
and I think
Oh,
it's freedom astrologer. He calls himself the
freedom
freedom
astrologer.
astrologer. Yeah.
Really great
Mm.
astrologer. And also, you helped another astrologer, I believe, Astro Victor,
Yeah,
with
Victor Simon. Yeah.
designing as well. So do check her services out, dear sincere.
Thank you.
And like, because for me, I don't really like, it's not about competition. I believe that there's abundant universe and that we all have our gifts, and you want to find the astrologer that really speaks to your soul. And so for me, I'm really happy to introduce you to other people, other astrologers, their work and what they do, because some of you will find your what you need from me, but some of you will feel more with Mayra or any other astrologer. So for me, I want to kind of share this abundance with everybody and
Thank
just
you.
hold hands with everybody, and just I think we need to enrich astrology because it's having this huge comeback, which
Right.
is amazing. I also believe astrology will become super huge more and more in the future. And so I just hope that when that day comes, you guys find all the resources also in my channel and all these astrologers that, I will hope to introduce to you as well. So thank you so, so much,
Thank
Mara, for
you, Sin. Thank you
and
for
for
your nice words. I also share your vision about abundance. It's beautiful what you said.
yes, that's what I believe. Thank you so, so much for
Thank
coming and for
you.
sharing your wisdom and sharing your project and all the knowledge that you had about this eclipse, solar eclipse. I hope you enjoyed this video, dear Sinceres. I just want to make sure that you said everything, Mara, that there's nothing that you feel like, oh, I just remember this thing before we say the final goodbye.
Everything is okay. Just, like attention to yourselves, and if you are feeling pretty anxious, just try to think back in 2014 when we had the last eclipse that it's similar to the one that's coming. Just think what was going on in 2014 in case you feel very anxious about what's coming. Think about these Taurus Scorpio themes and try to relate.
Wonderful. Yes,
Mhm,
absolutely agree with that.
mhm.
Okay, then, Sinceres, this is it. Thank you so, so much for
Thank you,
watching.
Sin.
And as I love to say to you, may the cosmos and the stars be with you. And do check her out, to check her channel, and make sure you subscribe, okay? It's Naranja Asteroid. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.